ready to start turn 5. The aliens have 12 countries under their control. We have 11, so we both have that bonus. The bases are pretty well built up so far. We didn't lose any troops or vehicles or aircraft in that last turn, so all of our money can go towards research and building the bases even further. So let's get started. We will begin with the income phase, and thanks to us holding on to the countries and keeping China and India as our allies, we have an income of 34 this time, which is a lot. You can do a lot with that amount. I can hear my dog jumping around downstairs, so if you hear that noise, that's what that was. And we want to do our research, but this time, unfortunately for us, we do not have a scientist card, so we can only research one thing right now, and that is definitely going to be alien science, which is going to cost us 6 and take us down to 28, which is still a lot of credits. We have to pay attention though. We only have one alien tech. We need 2, and we need to have 8 laboratories, which we currently only have 6. And that will take us into the production phase, and we will get 14 for each base. Time to make a lot of purchases. I put the credits for both of them here at 14, and our Air Force General had 1 left over, so he's going to have 15 total to spend. I made the purchases for the intelligence officer first. I built 2 more warehouses, 2 more barracks, 2 troops. I used the Air Force General's, or one of the Air Force General's engineer cards and his first card that he could play to build another hangar, and then I spent 3 more from her credits to get another drop ship, leaving her with 1 total credit to use in the next turn. For the Air Force General, I played his second engineer card, so he does not have the ability to play any more cards this turn, to build a 7th warehouse, so I could get an additional hangar, 2 barracks, and I got his first dropship and a couple of troops also. I didn't have enough to also purchase a tank this time, but we'll worry about that in the next turn. But we're really well stocked. We got plenty of troops available for ground assault, as long as one of our bases is not being attacked by alien ground troops. We can use his as an additional set of troops to send somewhere as backup also. In addition to the 3 sets of troops we have over here. Again, we didn't have enough to purchase a 3rd tank, but having an elite troop and these backup troops over here kind of makes up for that. I was thinking about possibly using her fortified base card to fortify one of these bases, but since the Air Force General used both of his cards, I wanted to have her left over because she does have a bonus and a diplomacy card that we might need to use. And we do have enough laboratories, built a couple more of those, so we're up to 8. We have to make sure we get a ground assault though, but we're ready for our diplomacy phase. And which country are we going to attempt diplomacy with? I want to get a couple more victory points to keep our distance. I don't want to go for one of these higher ones right now, so I have to choose. I want to go after a 6, a 7, or an 8. I'm currently 6 ahead of the aliens. I like to make it a nice, even 10. So I will go for Italy here, who I would need an 8 to secure alliance with. So I'm going to need a 7 because I have the 1 modifier because I have over 10 countries in the alliance. 7, 8, perfect. Wow. That modifier definitely made the difference there. And that'll bring Italy into the alliance, worth 4 victory points and 3 more income. Let's change that over here. 3 more income will take us up to 37. 4 more victory points will put us at 44. 10 ahead of the aliens, which are at 34. And now alien diplomacy gets a shot. There's not many neutral countries out there, but a couple of them are big ones. So. And it's South Korea, which is already one of our allies. So once again, the aliens are shut out of the diplomatic process. And we're ready to draw our UFOs and see what they're going to throw at us this turn. Okay. Let's see what our alien attackers have in store for us. And we have a large, a medium, a small, a large, a small, good variety. Maybe we'll grab another medium and just get 2 of everything. And a large. No, we're going to get 3 large craft. We do have the 6 radar facilities, so we can go after any of them. So that is a good thing, because we don't want those larges to make it to the ground. Iran, which is one of our smaller allies. Spain, which is one of our medium-sized allies. India, which is a very big ally. Luckily that's a small craft attacking India. The USA, a large craft. Definitely want to shoot that down and get a shot at diplomacy. China, another huge ally. And again, luckily it's a small craft. Indonesia, which is a neutral country, and a 2 victory point country. I hate to say that it's not worth defending, but we'll see where our resources end up to see if we have what it takes to defend Indonesia. We won't be able to use a diplomacy card because only the intelligence officer has the ability to play cards left, and I'm definitely going to try for the USA. I've chose for my interception to send my 2 ace pilots to the US, 2 of my other pilots to defend Spain, and 2 to defend Iran. India and China and possibly Indonesia are going to be defended with ground assaults. I don't think I'll be able to ground assault Indonesia because they're going to have, that's a big craft, so that would be 3 or 2 level 3 aliens and level 4 tank in there. So I'll probably send all my ground troops between India and China to protect my allies there. We'll start off with this large alien craft over Iran, who will get 5 and get 2 hits. Not great news for us, but our pilots that are there get 4 apiece. So if we can get 3 successes, we'll successfully defend Iran. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. That takes out another large craft. Let these guys start flying back home, and that'll put Iran back in the bag. And that will move us over to Spain. We have a medium craft attacking our ally in Spain. 0 hits. That is really good for us. All we need is 1 hit. But we've been known to roll 0 hits, even with 8 dice. But not this time. Plenty of hits. Actually got 5. Takes out another craft. Another couple of really good pilots. Get to go head towards the base. Spain is taken care of. And now we're ready to defend the USA. A large alien craft. They score 2 hits. And we'll bring our ace pilots, who get to roll 5 apiece. And because I don't want to fail, I'll use the intelligence officer's bonus card to gain 2 more dice, 1 for each pilot, for a total of 12. One, two, three, four, 5 successes. I know that was probably overkill, but I did not want to have a chance at failing there. USA is going to go back in the bag, whether they're our new ally or not. But we're going to use the intelligence officer's diplomacy card. She can play no more cards this time around. Let's clear some of these dice out of the way and give an attempt at diplomacy with the US. And I need a 10 or a 9 with my modifier. And this is a big deal here because they're worth 10 victory points, and that's going to put me over 50. So if we're successful here and I go over 50 and stay there by the end of the turn, the game is won by the Allies. Here we go. And I got it. Unbelievable. That is crazy good luck. USA comes to our alliance. That's 10 victory points and 10 credits. And this game may end in the 5th turn, which would be the best I've ever done. So 44. I take my little token, flip it over, got to the plus 50 side. I've never been on that side before. And that takes me up to 54 and 47 income. And now we have to defend India and China for sure, so we do not lose any of those victory points, and we can win this game in this round. And I have sent all of my base's troops and tanks onto dropships to defend India and China. I have not sent anything to Indonesia, which is not very nice of me, but this is one of those greater good scenarios. So Indonesia may fall under alien control, but it's for the greater good. That's right, these are small, so I can place that right there. Our first craft is a small ship, which gets 1 level 3 alien. And it will be up against a ridiculous amount of troops. So the alien rolls their dice, gets 1, so we need to get 2. We have 4 troops on the ground. They are at 4 each for 16, and a tank for 2 gets us 18. I have 12 dice, I believe, in this color. 12. Okay. So we have 6 more to roll if necessary, if we can't get 2 successes with 12 dice. And we do. Plenty of successes. And that takes care of the alien threat and the ship. And let me load these craft back up and put them back near their respective bases. India is successfully defended, and we'll go back into the bag. China is up next. This poor small craft that is going into China with just this one alien group on it is facing the same resistance, with the exception of an elite troop to make it even worse for the alien, who gets 1 again. Let me grab my pile of dice. So we need 2 successes, or we'll have to roll more. Several. And it looks like our troops did their job very, very well. And they are all going to return back to base, having repelled the alien attackers over China. And this large alien craft gets to finish its mission over Indonesia. They rolled 5, and they get a modifier of 2, making them a total of 7, and 7 is what they needed. That'll bring the aliens over, the Indonesian over to the aliens, granting them 2 more victory points, bringing them up to 36. And adding another country to their group for a total of 13. I almost forgot. Those 2 successful ground assaults give us 2 more alien tech, taking us from 1 up to 3. Then all of our troops can now safely return to base. And I think, if I remember the rules properly, we're going to win the game right here. And that is a rare exception, if that is the case, and I am correct, because I've never won the game by going over 50 victory points, and I've rarely won the game. I've been beat down most of the time by the aliens. I don't have too many victories against them, especially what seemed much easier than it normally is in this playthrough of the game. All of our troops have returned to base safely, and now we go to end a turn, and we'll go to the player board first, and let me check out the rulebook again quickly to make sure I'm correct. Our alien science was successful. It cost us 2 tech. We had the 8 laboratories. Normally I would reset the tokens and draw the cards, but I was correct, and the rulebook states that an instant allied victory occurs if at any time at the end of a turn the allies have greater than 50 victory points. The alliance automatically wins the game, which means we've done it. We've repelled the alien invasion in spectacular fashion. Just a quick, devastating victory by the alliance. Like I said just a few moments ago, very rare. That's the first time I've won by having the instant win conditions met by the alliance. That is crazy that I was able to do that. There was a lot of luck involved in that. I got some really major rolls. I mean, especially having the USA alliance roll come up as an 11. That was pure luck and really helped us out to achieve the victory that we did in such a quick, spectacular fashion. We didn't even make it to turn 6 or phase 3. We didn't have to deal with these large terror ships that have a modifier of 3 for diplomacy. They roll 6 dice. And let me show you the phase 3 card. Get to phase 3, and if a terror ship lands, it's got 3 level 4 and a level 5 inside of it, which makes it extremely difficult to do a ground assault against, which means you always want to try and shoot them things down if you have enough aircraft to do so. If I had to go into the next turn, I would have purchased more hangars and fighter craft for the intelligence officer. That way we had, 8 or 10 or 12 even maybe to go after the terror ships that would most likely show up in the skies over a lot of these countries. And those can really turn the tide of the game quickly. Again, great victory. Aliens did gain 13 countries, but mostly small ones. They have a couple of, or more than a couple, they have, I think, 4 of the 4 victory point ones, but they weren't able to keep up with our alliance, and having India and China and the United States, that really secured the victory for us. And now I'll go ahead and give you my final thoughts. I initially saw this game several years ago when I was watching a YouTube channel playthrough on the Lonesome Gamer's YouTube channel, and he did a playthrough of Target Earth, and I instantly wanted to get a copy of the game, and for various reasons of either not finding any in stock or the ones that were in stock were really expensive, time went by and I wasn't able to get one, or did not get one, but the opportunity finally came up. I got a copy and I was really excited to get to play it, and I really enjoyed the game. Let's talk about the rulebook first. The rulebook comes in 2 languages. There's another rulebook that comes with the game, and the rulebook is not laid out and easy to follow in English. And I think that's because the translation was probably not the best. The original rulebook and game was not in English, and English being the secondary language, it just is not easy to follow. The information is here, but it's just hard to follow. And I went online and I found, well, I didn't find it. One of my viewers suggested that I check out his English fixed version of the rulebook on Board Game Geek. And I did that, and that made it much easier to understand. But once you do get the rules down, and then you look back in the rulebook that comes with the game in English, the stuff is all there and it's evident. It's just harder to follow. I just think the translation did not come through as efficiently as it could have. Game components. The board is great. The tokens, all the cardboard is very thick, sturdy. Not going to have any problems there. Same with all the tokens. I do not like the really tiny tokens to mark what's going on this board over here. But I would have liked maybe a different layout on the board that was just like a continual path instead of having different tokens for the 1s and 10s and having larger tokens, or maybe a separate board to track income, or maybe two 10-sided dice to do the ones and the tens, and maybe this victory point track maybe incorporated into the main board, just going around the outer border, something else, because these little tokens are really fiddly and hard to deal with. The rest of this card is fine. The only exception I have is how you have all these nicely delineated numbers showing what level you're on. The alien science is just, with this counter, it's just kind of floating out in the middle of nowhere. I'd like to have a more definitive, like, you're at level 1, you're at level 2, you've completed, just like all these have the numbers to let them know. That's a minor thing. It's not that big a deal. It's just something I would like to see. Also, the player cards are cards. They're not boards. And I'm sure that's budgetary. To make the player boards would probably raise the price point of the game quite a bit. I've never tried to get pricing for a board game or do manufacturing for a board game, so I don't know how much more that would drive the cost of the game up. But I would gladly pay, an extra $10 on the MSRP if I had cardboard player boards also. Same with the cards. The cards are not a high quality stock. You can see I don't know if you can see, that they do have a little bit of a bend to them. They have this constant bend in them because they're really a thin stock. They're not like a black core or whatever the proper term is for the more sturdy cards. They just have a regular finish, not a linen finish. They do slide nice and easy, but I would like to see an upgraded card. And again, this game is 7 years old, not ancient, but older as far as the modern board games go. So a lot of these upgrades that I'm talking about probably would be included in a game that came out this year. But the game components work just fine for the gameplay. There's no problem with it. It's not like you can't play the game because of the way the components are. It's just you have to get used to them. And I think a little more thought and maybe a little more design, maybe having a graphic designer or somebody really spend some time on the game. And I hope I'm not insulting the creators of the game. I'm not trying to. These are just things that I would like to see and would have liked to have. Again, I really like the game, and I'm playing it, and I'm enjoying playing it, and the components work for the gameplay. I just would like to have seen an upgrade or a little bit better. And finally, the theme. The theme is great. It's not a busy, overly graphically laden board, which is just fine because you're putting tokens on it and that's taking care of any of the visuals that you're going to need. The design for the interception and the targets and putting your interception or UFOs, that I really like the way they did that. The same with the battle board down here. That way you can lay it out and then slide them over as things get taken out. I like this a lot. This globe with the countries laid out in this pattern, this asymmetrical pattern, and having the tokens lay right on it, having them be neutral or alien. I really like the way this is. I like the shape of these two instead of going with just a square or a simple rectangle like the flags. The flags make sense for rectangles because they're flags and they're going to be rectangular shaped, but I really like the shape of these tokens. That works really well. I like that a lot. The art on the cards also. I mean, it's okay. I would have liked to seen something a little more, either go heavily into the cartoon side of it or bring it a little closer to realistic. And something like the bonus card, and it's just a bunch of fire shooting out of something. I would have liked to have seen something a little more interesting on the bonus card. but the theme holds up as far as alien invasion goes, especially with the alien tokens for the UFOs and the alien tokens for the various troops. The illustrations on them are great. Those are well done. I'm enjoying those a lot. Same with the base. The theme fits really good here. You got all these modules you're putting in. I like the little art on the different base components and facilities also. Same with the ships and the tanks and the troops. That's all great. So the theme really comes through when you're playing the game. Especially, I really, really like this design on the main board with the countries here. That really drives it home for me, like, hey, I'm fighting for the planet. These are the countries that they've taken over. This is what I have to do. These are my goals. That really helps the theme a lot. And the sideboard too, the art on there works really good too. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I know we didn't get into the 6th and 7th turn and into phase 3. If you'd like to see a further playthrough into the other turns, I believe, and I'm going off of memory from several years ago, that if you check out the Lonesome Gamer's playthrough, I think his goes into the later turns and he has to deal with some of those terror ships. I could be wrong, but I think his does go into the later turns. You should check it out anyway. He's got a ton of other playthroughs on his channel. And he is the person I stumbled on several years ago and saw one of his playthroughs for a game, and that's what got me into the hobby. I had a couple of old board games before that, but watching his playthroughs is what got me into modern board gaming. So definitely check out Lonesome Gamer's channel. He's got tons of playthroughs. He's been doing this many, many more years than me. I hope you enjoyed it and look forward to seeing you for my next series. If you have any suggestions, you can also look on my Board Game Geek profile. I've updated my collection on there, and you can take a look and see what games I own, and then you can go ahead and make suggestions as to things you'd like to see. And looking forward to getting into my next game or unboxing, and we'll see you then. Thank you for watching. Please take a moment to click on these links and consider supporting the channel through Patreon. Also, the GoFundMe page for equipment upgrades, the link to that is in the video description below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, please leave some comments and check out the other videos on the channel. Your support is appreciated, and I'll see you in my next video.